Well, skating events.
Yeah.
Get ready, boys.
Or curling. Well, the Olympics have begun. Of course, they've been going all week, but for the men's Olympic hockey tournament, today is day one. And do we have a surprise result in the opener that involve more than 50% of the Dallas Stars Olympians this year? We'll talk about that with Sean and Sam and me right now on DLLS. Hey, everybody, this is the DLLS Stars podcast for, what day is today? Wednesday already. Wednesday, February 11th.
The weekday.
It is weekday. Alongside Sam Nessler and alongside Sean Shapiro, who's over there. Not here, but over there. I'm Owen Newkirk. Producer Ryan Vaughters is at the controls. Before we get into all of the fun of today, and we are going to be very Olympic focused today, as you would expect, let's talk about some Finnish hoodies. Unfortunately, these aren't Finnish Mafia victory hoodies.
I was going to wear it today, too, until the game.
And yet, no. But you can get this in both the hoodie and also the T-shirt version on our website, alldls.com. The hoodies are super soft. They look great. And, of course, you celebrate your favorite Finns on the Dallas Stars, who just so happened to not win today. So let's start with a little practice here, guys. I'm going to text it to you right now. So check your phones. His name is Samuel Levi. According to the NHL pronunciation guide, it's Levi, Hlavaj. He is the Slovakian goalie who plays for the Iowa Wild, part of the Minnesota farm system, who had a phenomenal game today as the Slovakian team stunned Finland 4-1. Not just beat them with a 3-goal cushion, including an empty netter. We are going to do our entire predictions right off the top here, but I had to go with Samuel Levi because he's the star of the day, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he broke I think it was a Slovakian record, international record with 39 saves. And he was good. I'm sure Sean will talk all about it, but he wasn't just making saves here and there. He looked locked in. He read plays really well. He was moving really well. I mean, the save on Roope Hintz backdoor shows you when a goalie's in the zone. They didn't do enough to score either, but he was absolutely incredible and he was fun to watch.
Okay, so we'll get into.
Is our Sam also a Samuel? Are you also a Samuel, Sam? Is that how
Nope.
it's pronounced properly for you?
I'm not even a Samuel. I'm just a Sam.
Just Sam.
Hey, why aren't you Samuel again?
Just a Sam.
I don't remember.
That sounded like a punt. He's punting on third down. He's going for the rouge.
Yes.
All right. Before we get into that, because every time I say that, Sean gets interested. Like, oh, yeah, let's talk about a rouge.
Let's talk about CFL, baby. Come on.
We are going to talk about the Finland-Slovakia game and all that implies. But before we get to that, we felt it was a perfect time for us to do our predictions for the medals. Now, we submitted these, full disclosure, this morning intentionally before the Finland game started. So I don't know if any of you want to change your votes now, which we could do, but let's show you who the four of us. Luds isn't on the show today.
Did he pick two, though?
He'll be on
he did.
tomorrow. He did. He was the first one
Yeah.
and to respond to my text this morning.
He's bored.
So let's go with Luds first since he can't defend himself. Craig Ludwig's Olympic hockey predictions. He has Canada winning the gold, Finland winning silver. Maybe he'll change his mind after that. And then he has Sweden winning the bronze. Sam, can you pick who that is in Sweden?
Yeah. Can you tell me?
Adrian Kempe,
Can you
by
tell
the
me
way.
what is wrong with the middle picture?
Yeah.
because Roope Hintz is wearing a Dallas Stars jersey with a
with
USA
United
flag
States
in the
flag
background.
behind him.
You had to call him out on
I
that.
had to
didn't
do
you?
it. He calls me out all the time. You got to call it out.
All
sometimes.
right, so Ryan, before you fix that, why don't you go ahead and put up Sam, since Sam. Let's see if Sam. Oh no, he got that one okay.
Hey, there you go.
So Sam,
Yes.
go ahead.
Yeah, mine's pretty simple. I still think Finland will win the bronze despite the game today. I think that they have a more complete team. However, they're gonna have to play a lot better than they did today. And I want to pick the U.S., but I truly don't believe they are built to beat Canada. And unless we get some huge performances from a few guys on that team that I don't believe should necessarily be on that team, I think Canada is going to be the better team.
All right,
That's the gold medal game.
Let's go to Sean. Sean, your picks.
That's not my picks.
You know what?
Those aren't my picks.
You know what? I think, Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong here. I believe you have
Those aren't my
Luds
picks.
as Sean and Sean as Luds. Because I
Okay,
don't
so
think
I'm gonna go-
think Luds picked Finland.
I'm going to go back and look.
I think Luds picked Canada, US,
He did.
Sweden.
So Luds picked Canada,
I-
the U.S. silver, and Sweden
was
as
a
the
swap.
bronze medal.
It was just a simple swap.
Sean
Yes, I
had Canada with Finland as the silver and Sweden as the bronze, leaving the U.S. off of the medal stand, off the podium.
So that was
Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah. Yes, I have. I think the U.S. reaches the semifinal, and I think they lose in the semifinal. And then I think that the U.S. Give a meter, drops in the bronze medal game, and then they don't medal at all.
Oh, for
And
sure.
so
If they're in the bronze medal game, they don't win. I fully
And so-
agree with you 100%. That's American
So-
right there.
That's
I'm
the old,
going with
the backup goalie gets to start, so Jake
Yeah.
or Swayman, and they care a lot, but the players have been
Yeah.
like, whatever.
Mhm.
That sounds
So,
like
yeah,
98 in Nagano.
Yeah, right. Sean, I'm curious. Who
So-
do you think U.S. loses to in the semi?
I think I think they end up losing to, and I want to be clear, I made these picks, but the original thought process before Finland lost this morning was I was doing math in my head of I thought they would lose to Finland in the semifinal. Now I think they will lose to Sweden in the semifinal based off of what happened. But before the first game today, I had US losing to Finland potentially.
So
in the
would you like to
semifinal.
amend your picks to Canada, Sweden, Finland instead of Canada, Finland, Sweden? No.
No, I mean, honestly, I was actually closer to putting Germany on the medal stand than the United States. I really have no faith in this U.S.
Ooh.
team.
Okay.
Like, I
So-
really don't.
I would
Like,
like to give
I don't-
Ryan a little credit of the four of us who are sending in our picks. I'm the only one who actually designated gold, silver, bronze. You guys just did left to right and assumed that it would be all good. These are correct. These are the picks I made. I'm going to go for the first time since 1980 with a American gold medal winning team, with Canada the silver and Sweden is the bronze. I am with Luds on this one. And Sean, well, Sean had Sweden, but he had Finland as silver. I actually picked this before Finland lost to Slovakia today. I think they are a deeper team. I like Finland's top end guys, right? Rantanen, Heiskanen, Lindell. I think Sweden's blue line is much deeper than Finland's, and they have better goaltending with Markstrom and Gustafsson. Sweden's about to play Italy. We've got the game on a side screen over here, so we'll be glancing over. And I think that they have more scoring. So I just think Sweden's a better team. But Finland is a hard team. They're not going to go away quietly, although they didn't do so well today.
Sweden better have more scoring than Finland did today in this game.
Here's why I picked the United States to win gold over Canada, because we only did the medals, but I actually wrote out 1 through 12 who I thought was going to be. And it turned out that as I did it, Sean, my 1 through 12 exactly mimicked the IIHF power rankings that you sent us. I was not because I was copying them. I was just going, okay, I think US, Canada, Sweden win the groups. I think Finland will be the fourth best. And then I kind of went through and I had Czechia 5, Switzerland 6, Germany 7, Slovakia 8. I might have undersold them. And then Latvia, Denmark, France, and Italy is last. So then I plugged them in 5 through 12, qualifying round, who's going to win each one, get to the quarters, the semis, and that's how I got to my medalists. The ironic part is I had Finland 4 versus 8 Slovakia in the quarterfinals after Slovakia beat Latvia. Slovakia might be a higher up seed than that after winning that first game. They're going to be a problem, aren't they?
I mean, Slovakia now, we obviously any, you can't put any win on paper, but Slovakia is now you're going to tell me that they should beat Italy. And so if they have that
would give them at least 6 points.
Yeah. Like they're probably, Slovakia is now in the driver's seat for that number one, to be that 4 seed, to be that number, to be that.
Do you think 6 points would do that? Like that's going to be.
Finland would have to beat Sweden, right?
Finland would have to beat Sweden, assuming they beat Italy.
Yeah.
To then tie them, and then it would be down to a tiebreaker. But do you think there's going to be a team that has, I don't know, I guess maybe 6 or 7? Maybe is it possible if you have well, no, because
Sean thought that Sweden Finland game was going to be overtime.
I think you're right. I think 6 points would be a really good chance to be number 4 seed.
I mean, I think the most you can get and not win your group is 7, I think, technically, right? Like, because you could win 2 in regulation. I think that's the most you could have and not win your group. You could win 2 in regulation
and lose 1 in overtime, and that'd be 7.
And lose in overtime. Yep. Yeah, so 7 is the most you could get as a second place team, I believe. If I'm doing
and if you had 8, or sorry, if you had 9, you're going to win your group.
Yeah. So I mean, Slovakia, it's a team where Slavkovsky, I mean, we'll talk a lot about this game in a second here, but Slavkovsky, I mean, his Olympic pedigree, everyone forgets about the 2022 Olympics because there was no NHLers and everything like that, but he was an 18-year-old, not yet drafted prospect who was the MVP of that tournament. Slovakia won their first ever bronze. He's got 9 career goals and 8 career Olympic games.
He really raised his draft profile with what he did in that Olympics.
Yeah. And he's at a spot where the all-time record for goals in the Olympics by any player is Teemu Selanne with 14. Slavkovsky's 21 years old right now, has 9 already.
That's incredible.
With a full, almost full Olympics still ahead of him now.
Yes. let alone
the rest of them.
Next 4. So, hey, going back to my picks real quick. The reason why I picked the United States to win over Canada, because I very strongly think they're the 2 best rosters in the tournament. Whether they perform, Finland is probably the 4th best roster, right?
Yep.
With Sweden right there, you could argue that a little bit. Now, of course, they lost to Slovakia, but going back to the 4 Nations tournament last year, I thought the U.S., when healthy, was punch for punch right there with Canada, which is, I think, the first time they've ever really done that, right? There's always been, well, if you play well, maybe you outplay them, maybe you get lucky, maybe your goalie stands on his head, and they've done that a few times over the years, but not many. This was the time where it felt like this was 2 adversaries on level ground.
Yeah.
What then happened? McAvoy got hurt. Kachuk got hurt, and they lost a little of the steam. Some of the guys that we hoped play well didn't play well. Canada eked out the win in the championship game right after the U.S. had that wonderful, preliminary exciting game. But they could have easily won. They didn't. Canada won.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like Canada massively outplayed them. It was just they barely beat them in a one-off game. So I think the U.S., if they stay healthy, they could win gold this year.
They just have to score.
I know Sean's not confident with it.
I'm just worried about them scoring. That's my only.
It's not the roster. I'd be clear. It's not the roster. If you're just on paper and we played this in a video game simulator, they would easily be a medalist. I don't know. It's one of those for USA Hockey for me. Obviously, everyone talks about 1980 being the last gold medal, which is true. The last time anyone's ever won anything as a country was 1996. Was like. The USA is I'm sorry to all of the Americans watching this show. We are the Toronto Maple Leafs of international hockey. That's what we are. So we don't get the job done. We don't get the job done in big moments. So that's kind of where, I think USA has never won the last year when they won Worlds at the IIHF. That was the first time we've ever won gold at the IIHF International Tournament, and it was against Switzerland 1-0 in the gold medal game. Like, when it comes to international hockey, USA Hockey has their one moment. That's why we had to make a movie about it. And every other time we will fall short. We are the Toronto Maple Leafs of international hockey.
Not just one movie, Sean.
That's where I come from.
Many movies and books and documentaries.
Yes, Kendra, I am glancing over here because we have the Sweden-Italy drop the puck a couple of minutes ago. And so every time you see us glance over to that, we're looking. I didn't ask either one of you guys this during our medal predictions this morning, but if you had to pick a sleeper team, I'll go with Sean first. A team that just, if you were going to say, hey, these are my picks, but the sleeper team to cause trouble, whether it's gold or just get to the medal rounds or whatever, who would it be?
I mean, I said Germany, and for me, it's the Germans, because I think it's a team where you look at the goaltending perspective. Philipp Grubauer's been playing well. If he continues to play well and gets hot, and I think that German team has played really well together from the base. It's been a group that's played a bunch of world championships together. They played at the Olympics together. Basically, you take about 80% of what's been the German team for the past couple of years that's played really well together, and then you basically just add on top of those foundational pieces, you add the actual superstars. You add Leon Draisaitl, you add Mo Seider, you add Tim Stützle. So for me, it's Germany from that perspective, where their best players are going to have to be their best players, the oldest cliche in hockey. But I think they're a team that understands the rest of the lineup can play that way, and they can kind of draw things into more of a boring counterfight game, and then they have the weapons that can counterpunch. So that's for me. That's why Germany comes up.
I think that's the second biggest cliche. I think get pucks deep is number one on the NHL's biggest cliche. No, but I agree with Sean on Germany. I'm not going to say Germany because he just did, but I'm going to say Czechia. I know they're not as much of a sleeper as Germany in terms of the team, but I think for me the top line for them with Pastrnak and Necas and Hurdle is a great line, and then the other side of it for me is Dostal. That he could steal a game. I think I actually might have been in 32 Thoughts was talking about, imagine going against the Dostal we've seen at times during this playoff in a one-game elimination. I wouldn't want to be that team. I think that's one of the goalies to watch out for, one of the teams to watch out for.
I think that's the hardest group right now. And then we just saw Slovakia, so maybe I'm wrong, but I think Canada, Switzerland, Czechia, that's why I was going to pick Switzerland as my surprise sleeper dark horse, because Akira Smee is an okay NHL young goalie.
Depends how he plays.
His
rookie year or
right, and there's times where he's looked good, time and not. I totally agree with you on Dostal, but I just look at the Swiss lineup, right, and having Captain Roman Josi, that's no surprise there.
Such a good player.
But think about the defense: Siegenthaler, Josi, Moser is their top three. Fiala, Hischier, Timo Meier, Niederreiter, Pius Suter, Philip Kurashev. That's a pretty good top six. And in a short tournament like that, they can carry you. Although we saw today that Finland's third line was really giving them fits for a while, but then they didn't score. And
Italy takes the lead.
Wow. Maybe we
this
don't
is going to be the funniest tournament of all time.
We'll talk about the first game and what Italy just did and all that next year on the DLS Stars podcast. Wild Fork Foods Meat and Seafood Market. It's almost Valentine's Day. What you might think, oh, well, you've got to get the traditional stuff, but how about great deals to make a meal for that special someone? You can do that by getting your ingredients at Wild Fork Foods Meat and Seafood Market. Salmon pinwheels with lobster stuffing, just $5 a piece. Lobster tails, just $7.98 a tail. Beef tenderloin medallions, $10 a piece. You can save 10% when you buy 2 USDA choice beef picanha steaks, or save 9% when you buy 2 bacon-wrapped beef tenderloins. Also, Argentine red shrimp, $11.98 per pound. Dessert, don't forget dessert, $9.68 for a chocolate lava cake. And I know Sam bought some when he was at Wild Fork last weekend. Every dollar counts with perfect bundles. $32 for lobster tails with filet mignon, and $25 Argentine shrimp with USDA choice beef New York strip steaks. Wild Fork Foods, 9 area DFW locations. Check them out on their website, wildforkfoods.com.
Channel the fresh start energy of the new year and finally launch your business with Shopify. If you've been wanting to launch a business, now is the time, and Shopify is here to help you do exactly that. 2026 is the year that you can rewrite your story, own your future, and make your entrepreneurial dreams come true. Shopify gives you everything that you need to sell both online and in person. Millions of entrepreneurs have already made the leap, from household names to first-time business owners just getting started. There's no recommendation, no limit. You do whatever you need to do. Shopify is there to help you get through it and streamlines the process all the way through. Marketing is also built in. So if you don't know anything about that, which most of us don't, Shopify can help you get all that set up with email, social campaigns to reach customers wherever they are and wherever they are going to scroll. In 2026, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/allcity. Go to shopify.com/allcity. That's shopify.com/allcity. Hear your first this new year with Shopify by your side. Me too.
All right. So we're sportsing at a very high level right now because we've got our show on. We've got Sweden, Italy on the screen over here. I've got Liverpool versus Sunderland on my laptop right now. And I've got the chat rolling on here. So I don't even know how we're paying attention. But
I'm watching Miami, Ohio State.
Yeah, of course you are. Okay, so let's start with the early game today. The first game of the men's tournament here at the Olympics was Finland versus Slovakia. We planned on talking about this anyway because 4 Dallas Stars, Miro Heiskanen, Mikko Rantanen, Esa Lindell, and Roope Hintz playing for Finland. And you're sitting there going, okay, that's more than 50% of their Olympians all playing for one team. So, of course, we're going to be aware of that and pay attention to it. Sean, early thoughts as they get stunned 4-1 by the Slovaks, who Juraj Slafkovský looked phenomenal and their goalie looked great.
So I'm watching. I won't show the screen. It's on my phone, but just
there
the back
go.
of it, Ryan. Don't worry. I'm not getting this copyright caught because I have this sitting right in front of both of your faces.
Perfect.
I can't help but point out something right now that's kind of funny. So Finland is the defending gold medalist in Olympic hockey, right? Like they won in 2022. The coach of the Finnish national team, what was that?
Wasn't it against the ROC in that gold medal game?
Yes, it was. But the coach of the Finnish national team was Jukka Jalonen. He was from about 2008 till 2024, and he led he actually led Finland to the gold there. He led them to their first ever world championship. Guess who he's coaching right now? He's coaching the Italians. He's coaching the Italian team that's leading 1-0 against Sweden. So there is a maybe and now he obviously left the Finnish team. To be very clear on something, he left the Finnish national team post to potentially try to get NHL jobs. It wasn't that he left the job that Finland decided to axe him. So I can't help but see that scenario. I can't help but bring that up right now with Italy having the 1-0 lead. Italy leading 1-0 right now is the equivalent of, I went to a MAC school. So when like early college football, like you kick that field goal in the first half on the first possession, you go up 3-0, then you take a picture of the scoreboard and then you turn the TV off because you know
Bowling Green is beating Ohio State 3-0.
Exactly. So you go, you take a picture of that and you let it go. So that's where Italy's at right now. So we have to celebrate it right now before Sweden does anything else.
Yeah.
All the Italians are out of the arena already. They're out in the streets. They're partying. They're enjoying it.
Best part of their whole Olympics happened the first 5 minutes of the game. The game itself, the Slovakian versus Finland game, what really stood out to you? What aside from the goalie? I mean, obviously they got goalied, but Finland was really dominant until the third period, in which they then, I don't know if they had their spirit broken or they struggled to get shots in the third after really carrying the play in the first 40.
Yeah, and I think it's, for me, there's a couple things. First off, I thought first to give credit to Slovakia beyond the goaltending, and obviously you've got Slafkovský had a tremendous game. I think the other key to these upsets when these type of things happen is understanding the moment of a chaotic moment, right? And so it's fitting that Slovakia gets outplayed heavily in the first period, but takes advantage of the one bad turnover, ironically enough, by the only non-NHL player on the Finnish team.
Wearing number 4.
Yes. Different player, everyone. And then a bit of unluckiness for Finland when Sebastian Aho loses his footing on the Dvorsky goal, right? And so it's credit to Slovakia about kind of jumping on things the way they did. But from a Finland perspective, it's a team and a country that you're used to seeing kind of calm and composed and everything like that. It seemed a little bit it seemed to me that they stopped they were trailing and they started letting get to them. And I don't know what you guys think about that, but like for me, watching them play, like, thoughts?
No, go ahead.
I'll let you go to you guys.
Okay.
No, I was just gonna say, like normal, like I expected that game to go the script where Finland would just be patient and eventually come back. But they started to feel the pressure, it seemed like, and that seemed very unfinished for what I'm used to seeing in that team.
Yeah, mistakes is what I took away from it. Because if you look at we talked about the goalie, the individual performances were great, but the mistakes. Two things if you want to lose a game, you don't convert on your chances. And credit to the goalie. I'm not saying Finland, was missing the net 100 times or anything like that.
Yeah.
But in the end, they didn't score their chances. Roope Hintz had 2 plays that probably should have both been goals. Rantanen had a chance late. They had a bunch of chances. They hit a couple crossbars. They had a couple big saves. You don't finish your chances on one end, and then you make the big mistake. And that's the letting in turnover. That's the Heiskanen delay game penalty. That's the plays that just lead to the big plays. The Saros not reading the shot from, and it's a great shot, but not reading the shot from Slafkovsky, Lindell with the screen. Those little things, you put those together with not converting on the other end, and it's an easy formula to lose the game. So it doesn't matter if you outshoot them 40-25 or whatever it was. You have to bear down in those areas, and they didn't do that. And I think the good takeaway, it's not all negative. I want to say the positive takeaway for me was, as much as Rantanen was kind of underwhelming, I didn't think Hintz was that great other than his chances he had.
So I thought Roope looked good.
Well, he looked good. He just didn't finish. I guess maybe he scores one of those goals. Maybe that's a different story.
That's just ironic.
Yeah, it is funny. Nice.
Thank you.
Lindell, looked pretty good in his position. Miro, I think, other than the penalty, looked very good. And he looked, what we talked about in our preview is Miro needs to activate, because they don't have the depth that Dallas has where you can rely on a Thomas Harley to jump up in the rush or something like that. Miro was pretty much playing rover in that game, because for the first 2 periods, he didn't have to play a whole lot of defense other than a couple rushes. So he was just kind of floating. I think he played over 27 minutes in the game. He was activating down the wing. He had a couple shots. He was really jumping up in the play and creating. And I think that's what all Dallas Stars fans want to see carry over when he leaves the Olympics. But he's going to have to do that more and more and more, because they just don't have it from anyone else back there.
Yeah, I thought Roope looked just like he has for Dallas, which is good. I thought he looked better than he did in the Four Nations. Yes, they didn't score. They got the 1 goal from Tolvanen. It was a really nice pass by Armia in the slot to set him up. He had a wide open net. And I'm sitting there going, look pretty good in Dallas Stars colors here in a couple weeks if you want to do that. But Sean, do you think, I know we're talking about the Stars guys, but do you think UC Saros gets the nod for the second game? Or do you think he should maybe not, because he didn't look super locked in compared to what you hope for him?
Yeah, well, it's kind of following the script of Four Nations, right? Didn't they go to Kevin Lankinen in game 2? You get Four Nations, and so it's kind of following the script of that. I think I don't think they play tomorrow, so it's a really good question of, I bet Lankinen was going to play one of the next 2 games either way, because I think every team has a back-to-back. I think every team has a back-to-back with Friday,
3 and 4
Saturday
days. Yep.
Yeah. So, it wouldn't surprise me though if all of a sudden is Lankinen have you moved in your mind? Is this enough where Lankinen is going to be our guy in the do or die game? Because obviously you put him in net and you see how he does, but has Saros lost that opportunity? Because Saros' last couple outings for Finland have not been the strongest. So yeah, I would probably go to Lankinen. I personally, Saros was picked high a couple times, and he's been picked high a couple times in Four Nations, and that's normally been, it hasn't, even with his height, that always hasn't been a weakness. But the fact it's established more as a weakness in the past 18 months and 2 years, it's been, to me, I would go to Lankinen. So
he's been beat. I know Nashville's been garbage, but he's been beat a lot like that in the season as well. He has not had a good year. I think all the stuff that Sean said, plus the fact that he hasn't been great in the NHL either, I 100% think that he should go to Lankinen in game 2.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be interesting to see how they traverse it, especially because we talked about this the other day with the format. This is not as panicky as what you would normally think of as a group stage of a tournament where teams get eliminated before they get to the knockout, right? Because you don't have to, like Sean, I know that getting one of the top 4 seeds and not having to play the extra game is an advantage for rest and energy and all that. Yeah. But it's not as, even if they finish last in the group, they're still going to get a chance to play in the preliminary qualifying playoff round and then move on into the quarterfinal. So it's only one more game. I don't think it's necessarily the panicky that you might feel, because what we're used to, in the World Cup for soccer, I know I talk about soccer a lot. Okay, if you lose the first game, it significantly hinders your chances of progressing to the knockout stage.
Yeah.
I've
said
the way
this.
the old World Cup format is, they're changing that one in the U.S. as well.
I've said this. Yeah, I've said this. I said this. I think I said in our preview show on Monday. Like, I wish the last place team in each group got eliminated. Like, I wish there was something along those lines. Just because, like, all of a sudden there's more to play for on all of this. Like, Finland's going to try to win the rest of their games and everything like that. But basically, all you're playing for is to avoid the back-to-back of the playoff game, quarterfinal, avoiding the back-to-back of that. So, give me a format where you have teams eliminated before. That should make things better. That would also make the games better. So,
you're trying to read the TV.
Yeah, I figured out. I don't have to wear my glasses. I just can hold them in front of me.
And you know what? When you look at the TV, it totally looks better that you do that versus just wearing.
It looks like I had at a fancy tennis match. You know, I just wanted to say the shots are 17-3 in favor of Sweden right now, which is ridiculous.
All right, up next, let's talk more. We got lots more to talk about Olympics, and we are going to also look at the Olympic jerseys as well a little bit later here on the DLS Stars podcast. Let's talk about merchandise. How about the Jake Ottinger shirt that I'm wearing today? Or, well, not the Miami. It's okay. He doesn't always wear it.
Canes.
Ryan's wearing the Finnish Mafia t-shirt. We talked about the hoodie in the intro.
Go on screen.
Great opportunities here to get phenomenal Stars-related shirts that DLS has. You also have ones for Mavs, Rangers, Cowboys, but let's talk about Stars. Wyatt Johnson shirt. Captain, Moose, the finisher, the Otter shirt, on and on. It's so great. The face-off collection, the green one and the black one, as Lud says. I like to say that those are the throwing stars, but you guys have another nickname for that. All you have to do is go to the website, alldls.com, click on the tab that says merch, and you can get yourself some great merch. There's also the hats. You're wearing the U.S. Olympic team hat today, obviously, supporting Team USA. But you can do all of that, and if you're a diehard, you get 20% off.
Yes, and if you're a diehard, or even if you're not, I don't think you have to be a diehard, but you should be a diehard first, then join the YouTube Supporters Club, because that's the next level for the real ones and true sicko level stuff only. Supporters Club has all kinds of cool stuff. Look in the bottom right corner of your screen, all kinds of emojis that you can pop up into the chat. Bing Bong, the big text, the Cowboy Star, the Luds, which is hilarious that Luds has his own emoji. As well as the Stanley Cone. We got to get the Luds emoji on this graphic right here is what we need to do so that I can look right at it while we're doing this read.
To see the Luds logo.
Yeah, but you also get your own exclusive badgies, which you can put on next to your name, and then you pop out in the chat so we can see it easily and clearly. And last but not least, my favorite part of this, behind-the-scenes videos. Current best one by far. Lud's doing ad reads. I could watch it over and over again. I suggest you do the same.
You only get to watch that. The Supporters Club members are firing off the special emojis.
We got TO used to fire off free Supporters Club. Mine's expiring soon, TO. So if you want to fire me another one of those babies, join the Supporters Club now.
Man, what a mooch! I love it. Kendra's updating you on the shots in the chat.
Oh, thank you.
So you can see them.
Keep doing that.
All right. So before we get into the jersey conversation, which we will do, because we have been thinking about this for a while, we wanted to do Olympic jerseys. And then the games for the NHL season just kept coming and coming, and we sort of kept pushing this off until this week. And now that the games are starting. But before we do, we have some things we want to touch on and sort of clean up off our checklist here. And let's start with the IIHF power rankings that Sean shared with us the other day. I was mentioning how I ranked mine. Amazingly, they were almost identical. I was slightly off because I gave the U.S. the number 1 seed after the preliminary round in my 1 through 12. But Sean, this was pretty funny. The captions that the IIHF came out, they said this was their rankings as of February 10th. So obviously yesterday, before the games began. One of my absolute favorites was France, already qualified for 2030, unlike you.
Yep.
Which I thought was pretty hilarious. And that Denmark apparently wouldn't face Crosby again until the final. So there's that. So fun times.
Just pretend it's World Juniors.
Just fun times to be had throughout that. As you look at that ranking, though, did that seem fairly close to what you agree with or disagree with?
Yeah, coming into the tournament, obviously that was done before Slovakia won, and obviously there'll be some things done that way. But yeah, no, I liked the line about France has already qualified for 2030. Fun fact: do you guys know who coached France at the 1998 Winter Olympics?
No, not off the top of my head.
I don't.
Herb Brooks.
No kidding.
Oh, I
Yeah.
should have known that.
I know. I should have probably known that too.
Yeah. So
How
fun fact.
does that work? How does that work with coaching? Assuming you don't have to be.
No, you can
A native
hire
of
whatever
that
coach you want.
You can be from wherever. I mean, we just talked about the Italian coaches, the Finnish.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. So it doesn't matter at all.
No,
So
the other thing is that coaches don't actually get medals. By the way, that's the other fun thing. By the way, like at the Olympics, only the athletes get medals.
Huh.
So it is only an athlete competition. Coaches don't actually get medals at Olympics. So
which makes
execs
sense for
don't either?
the individual sports. Every athlete has a coach, right? Whether it comes to alpine skiing or
Yeah, I
figure
guess that makes
skating
sense.
or the luge, or I could just start naming off ones. They all have coaches.
Bobsled.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's the athletes that get the award. So just because it's a team sport, right? Suddenly the curling coach doesn't get a medal. It's just the athletes.
That's funny. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Correct.
But
Correct.
I'm sure for the sake of their careers, they're probably happy about that. So Herb Brooks never got a medal.
No.
I'm guessing he didn't. Right?
I mean, ceremonious. I mean, I guess a nation can go buy something. Like I don't know what, like, but from the official,
Team USA gave him something for his efforts.
I'm sure Herb Brooks was compensated emotionally and monetarily for his impact on hockey culture.
So I have another graphic from the IIHF that we talked about some of the rules and formats of the tournament. We did our Monday preview, but I wanted to go through a couple of things that they tweeted out this morning, which I thought was interesting to discuss. And that's the fact that the physicality of the way it's played is called a little bit different. And I particularly liked the line at the upper part where it says that the officials focus on whether a player is less on whether a player is injured and more on whether an action recklessly endangered an opponent. And Sean, that is a very big difference from how a lot of the NHL interpretations are made.
Sorry, I was watching. I pulled a Luds and I got caught watching Sweden and Italy
Sam,
for a second.
to you.
I'm sorry.
Yes, I can't read these though.
No, but you weren't listening either.
Yeah, no. You know what? In my own defense, when you went to this, I thought he's for sure asking Sean. So I
literally said Sean's name.
See, that's why.
But I was still coming back to you.
Okay,
Okay.
Try it
So
again.
since you both didn't pay attention, Ryan, why don't you chime in now? We'll go back to Sean. The line at the top, which is the officials focus less on whether a player is injured and more on whether an action recklessly endangered an opponent. And that is how they are calling things in the IIHF rules.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's why sometimes you'll watch you've seen it a lot in World Junior or in World Championships too, but World Junior because it gets most publicized and more people watch that tournament. You'll see guys get tossed for headshots and everything like that we'll see that you think would never would it might be penalties in the NHL, but don't reach the line of that. It's an interesting. Basically, I'm watching a lot of this tournament just using that mindset of how would you watch games, how World Juniors are called. And then all of a sudden that makes everything feel a lot easier.
So there's a couple other things just to point out. Reviews and challenges, it's not a situation room event. It's always the team, right? If it's a challengeable play, even in overtime, it's not like Toronto in the NHL where the league can go, hey, we'll take it over late in games and in overtime, that's on us.
Yeah.
No. You have to be the one from the bench to ask for it. And of course, the changing ends in overtime and shootouts we talked about, they will stay at the third period orientation. But the one I wanted to bring up, other than the one at the top, is just simply the numbers. If you have matching or coincidental penalties, it's not going to create 4-on-4 hockey, or you have to have one penalty, then another to create a mismatch. They will say 5-on-5 if one player from each team gets that penalty.
Which is interesting because I was watching the game today. There was a little bit of, I think it was still 1-0 Slovakia, and there was a little bit of stuff in front of the net. And the broadcast crew was talking about Slovakia needs to stay out of that stuff because that's when if you're a much better team, when you lose a guy on each side, your structure goes to hell, and all of a sudden that team really can take over. That's not the case.
And your depth
though.
isn't there.
That wouldn't happen. So I guess that doesn't matter. So yeah, it's a good thing probably for the
Yeah.
Slovakias and those type of teams when you're playing the better teams.
If they call them both, but if one
Yes.
player, and that's Sean, I don't know about you, but I feel like in my head, in the IIHF rules, you see more of referees making one call rather than just, hey, I'm going to take both of you to keep it under control.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing that's interesting too from that graphic brought up, but was, and it was, we watched the Slovakia-Finland game. Faceoffs were a big difference in that game, right? And the Slovakians dominated the faceoff dot. And now they have 7 guys, and they have some of their centers are NHL guys with NHL experience, but the aggressiveness you take on a faceoff is way different in IIHF rules than in NHL rules. In the NHL rules, a center who's too aggressive just gets tossed, and then the second guy gets brought in, and maybe the refs would call it. They rarely actually do. In IIHF play, you actually it becomes a little bit more of, they never toss the guy, they give the warning, and then they give a penalty for a delay of game, I believe is the exact terminology. So it's...
And
it's
they don't, you just said it, they don't want to call that in the NHL. They will give them every opportunity the second time around. Like the lines, you've even heard them mic'd up, the players mic'd up, and you hear them say, I don't want to call that. Yeah. You've got to work on this or that. You'll actually see that, which if it's the rule, right?
Yeah. So so the way IIHF games are called, you can't be as aggressive. Like in the Stars, for example, are a very aggressive team on faceoffs. They're a team that there's one of the big complaints other coaches bring up when they play the Stars is they try to talk about how the Stars cheat on faceoffs. Now, I would argue that the Stars cheat on faceoffs the same way the Avalanche run pick plays in the offensive zone. You're good at it, and if you do it, you do it. So, but that's something that will come into play and could lead to more actual infractions in the way you look at the way you approach the game. So
the one I'm confused about is the helmets. This was brought up today in the first game as well. So the rule says you have to go directly to the bench. No finishing the play is the way they word it. The NHL is the same thing. Are they saying you can't pick up your helmet like the NHL? Because the NHL rule is if you can pick it up immediately,
pick up and put it back on your head, you can continue playing. So whereas it doesn't matter in the international rules.
You have to just go right off.
In the NHL rule, you have to put it on and technically have to secure it completely, right? Okay. That's the NHL rule. The IIHF rule, technically, you're not allowed to secure your own helmet on the.
So you just have to go off no matter what.
Yes.
Okay.
The only way you can properly put on a helmet, apparently, by IIHF rules, is on the bench. You can't do it on the ice.
To go up to your dad in the stands.
Honestly, I think the reason why they do it, besides the on-ice safety of if you don't have a helmet on, we don't want you getting hit in the head or dropping and hitting your head on the ice or the boards or anything like that, is also probably to encourage players to not do what they normally do, which is have a really loose chin strap where your helmet flies off, and say secure it properly the way it's designed so it won't come off during play.
Yeah.
And then you don't have that problem.
In my head, I'm just picturing all the funny times in the NHL back in the day when players would lose their helmet and just keep playing and try to go in for hits. I think there was a
the
really
scary
funny
one
Stars
is when a goalie loses
a
glove and then tries to play or something, and you go, don't stick your bare hand out to catch a shot. That's a terrible idea. I did want to bring up one more equipment thing, and that has to do with neck guards, because, Sean, you brought this to my attention last week, and they've been talking about it on the broadcast, that neck guards, of course, are required by IIHF rules ever since the horrible incident in England a couple years ago. They will actually make it mandatory in the NHL starting next year, but like most equipment changes, it's grandfathered in. So any player who has not previously played a game in the NHL starting next season, rookies or older players that are NHL rookies, even if they are over 25, if you've never played in the NHL before, you must wear a neck guard starting next season.
As long as you have one game before that, it's okay?
If you have played this year or prior, you can be grandfathered in. But it's interesting because...
Same as the visor rule that allows Jamie to keep without a visor. So
Luke Fox did a neat piece from Sportsnet earlier this week talking to some of the players about wearing neck guards, and some said unequivocally, I'm not going to be wearing that once I get back, whatever we deal with it. Others said, boy, if you don't really notice it after, I remember when I first put one on and you notice a difference, you don't feel that air on your neck anymore. After a little while, it becomes so second nature.
And especially, I was watching
you just go, maybe I'll wear it.
The game today, a lot of these guys, like some of them have the actual neck guard, but a lot of them are just an extension of their undershirt.
You're talking about the difference between a separate collar.
Like Erik Karlsson right now is wearing a full-on neck guard collar. A lot of the Team Finland almost exclusively was wearing one that just extended up higher. So like
Which is basically it's attached to your base layer. It's like a turtleneck with a cut resistant material around your neck, and that's what I have. I got it as soon as we decided we make our kids do it, and honestly, it's fine. Yeah. I like the ones. So I have a brand called Acane, which is actually Swiss, that doesn't have Velcro. It's all like the way they design it. You can just pull it over your head, kind of like a turtleneck. I like that because I really liked a different company. I had a Bauer one, but the Velcro started to give away and it would pop off and loosen during play. The breathability of that base layer was awesome. Yeah. But I like that there's no Velcro to come apart in the middle of that. So,
I just want to
Sean, do you have any thoughts on the neck guards before we go to break?
I talked a couple of weeks ago. I talked to Dylan Larkin about it when he was testing out a couple in Detroit to kind of see what felt most comfortable and everything like that. But it is funny to hear. Funny is the wrong word, but you hear players say like, "Oh well, yeah, this will be a one-off. I'll wear it for that only." I bet more guys adopt it. I bet, but we'll see some players who just keep it and after they come back to the NHL. And it's a good thing, right? Like, I think that's the most important thing just to bring up at the end of the day. Like, I had to explain to you don't want to be too graphic talking to but like my son started doing like the learn to play on Sundays and all the kids are wearing neck guards and he asks what this piece of equipment's for. And you don't want to be too graphic explaining it to a 5-year-old, but it is the reality of it's one of the few life or death equipment pieces probably instantly and so it's not a bad thing. And I think I can't remember, Owen, at one point you brought up a clip from another show. I can't remember which players were talking about it, where it was something along the lines of, we have to normalize as guys move up that moving up in the league doesn't require you to take equipment off. Right. Like, I can't remember.
Yes.
I remember you. Yeah. So,
yeah. And I don't remember where that's from, but it's like, you got to the point where it's, oh, hey, now we have just visors instead of full face protection like they do in college. And, the ironic part, Sean, is that for all the players that say they don't want to keep wearing neck guards, they all have cut resistant socks, stuff on their wrists, some on the, I know there's some that have base layers that can do it just above the knee where their little gap between the pants and the shin pads are. So I don't think I don't know this for sure, but I would venture to say that there isn't a player in the NHL that isn't wearing some cut resistant material on their person. Yeah. But the neck guard thing should be, I applaud the NHL for doing it. They should do it sooner because honestly, if it saves one player getting a skate to the neck,
if you ever relate it to, it could be horrific, and we've seen it actually be horrific, and the detriment is so small. It's a no-brainer.
No-brainer. Yeah. Absolutely. Up next, let's talk jerseys, Olympic jerseys here on DLLS. This is us free-flowing about diehard. Talking? So you start this one because I got to text Ryan something.
Okay, let's talk about being a diehard. You know what? I know there's something really exciting coming up tomorrow, I believe, right, Ryan? Is it tomorrow, Thursday? The Discord, the damn Discord.
Oh, yes.
Tomorrow, which I haven't even looked at the Discord to see the questions, but I'm sure.
I glanced briefly this morning. There were 5 or 6 at least already.
So, hey, anyone listening, get those in. We need more than 5 or 6. I think we're trying to do 2 segments potentially on it.
No? Really?
I thought that's what Ryan told me. 2 segments on the Discord?
We want a solid segment. If it bleeds into 2, that's
at least a full segment of Discord.
Both of them?
I think let's get enough questions where we can do at least 1 plus segments of the Discord, but it's going to be fun. You can ask questions to any of us. You can ask questions to Ryan. It could be the stupidest questions in the world or very hockey specific. That's a fun time, and that is for diehards only, as well as my article, which will be on Friday, which is also for diehards only. A mailbag, which is all of your questions. You get 20% off merch, 20% off events, all kinds of cool stuff. alldls.com/diehard. Go.
Thank you. Being a diehard, you did leave me a few things. Being a diehard is not only great for the things you get, which is free T-shirt when you sign up, the access to the writing that Sam is talking about, the events. It also builds community. We talk about the diehard damn Discord channel, right? Diehard only Discord lounge is something special, but it also promotes this extra community. So people that are starting to to know each other in the chat then can do it during games, the rest of the time when we're not on our live show. And to example, Allie's in the chat today, and Allie's one of our great DLS diehards. She is connected to Edmonton Fire Rescue. And if you go to my Twitter right now, at Owen Newkirk, you'll see it's one of the more recent ones I tweeted today. There's a link to an Instagram post that one of these halls of Edmonton Fire Rescue did. They're competing to try to raise funds for muscular dystrophy. And so I love that the diehard part of it kind of combines this all together. All you got to do is click on that Instagram link and like the post. So help Allie out. They're trying to win. And if you can do that, that's just another reason why the diehards just lift everybody up. So there you go. Be a diehard today. We love it.
All right, let me ask Sean one question. Sean, you have 10 seconds to answer this because we have too much to get to. But at what point, with how many shots on goal, do you pull your goalie in this game? Because Italy is currently being outshot 30-3, I'm pretty sure.
As in for preservation?
Like in this game, if your goalie stopped 43 shots through 2 periods, do you switch to goalie?
I think you let the kid go. I mean, hey, Damian Clara is their starter. He's a Ducks prospect. He's
a big dude.
He's 6'6". He's
tall.
playing better than I've seen him play all year in the SHL. I mean, the reality, Sam, is I get where you're going from preservation, but if you're Italy, you're building everything to you got to win a knockout game. He's going to have to do this in a knockout game. So basically, that's where I go on this right now. He's not playing the next game. You're going to rotate your goalies for the energy that way, but save him for this is what he's going to have to do in the knockout game for them to pull off a miracle in that sense.
This segment, you get to take point. So I'm passing you the puck.
For what?
What do you mean for what? Jerseys.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay.
For what?
Yeah.
We just talked about it before the show.
I wasn't sure if you were doing the rink thing.
No, we're going to save that for another show.
Beauty. All right, let's talk, Sean. Let's talk sweaters.
What?
Let's talk sweaters.
Like I had 4 heads.
Ryan, let's just do it free flow. So all we're gonna do is Ryan's gonna throw up a sweater. We're gonna talk about likes, dislikes, and then we're all gonna pick our favorite at the end of it. How's that sound?
I love it.
Here we go. Latvia. Sean, what do you think? Latvia's sweater.
I like the Latvian sweater. Also, this is
similar
to the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like that one. That's similar. This is the same one that they used at World Junior. I think a lot of these teams use similar ones they use at World Junior. So no, I think this is a sharp looking one. So I
want to point out really quickly that I always have a different impression of a jersey from a professional photo shoot like this. And then when we actually see them, right? The Stars debuted their 99 jerseys. I went, okay, all right. Then you see them in person or on TV on the ice and they look better. So some of these I might say, I like this, I like that. And then you see it live. And I always think that looks better than just
maybe we revisit it next week. And
say, if we have the same, I think we should revisit that.
God,
because for example, you haven't shown Sweden yet, but we're watching Sweden, Italy. I love the yellow with the navy.
Yeah, there you go. There's Sweden right there.
Those look good.
Oscar Beck said, we have to do the 3 crowns.
Well, that's tradition. And they shouldn't go away from their brand. But it looks even better when you see the helmets and the gloves and the pants and the socks and just the getup is very. It immediately screams Team Sweden, the Tre Kroner, and I love it.
I feel like it pops with the ice too.
Yes.
Yeah, it stands out.
Right.
The only thing I don't like about it,
immediately it's the Swedish team.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like about it is they went navy blue instead of that light blue that they used to wear.
I like the navy.
I like the Henrik Lundqvist old lighter blue.
That's fair, but I really like. I think
but the yellow is the
yellow and then dark navy like that.
Yeah.
That just looks perfect.
All right, Ryan, pop it up. Here we go. The boys playing right now.
But they're not wearing this one today.
They're wearing the blue one today.
Which, by the way, the yellow and the dark blue, the darker Italy ones, it's a nice color rush.
Yeah.
But I don't like the sleeves on that.
Yeah,
one.
This looks kind of like a race car vibe, right? That's what I feel. Especially even the
kind
logo.
of
Even the logo.
I think the dark jerseys that Italy is wearing today actually look okay, but that sleeve thing is strange. I mean, it's different, right?
Yeah.
But it's not for me.
Switch it up. Sean, you're going to start us off on the next one. Hit it up, Ryan. Denmark. Go ahead, Sean.
This is an elite crest. Elite crest.
It is.
Crest. I love it. I love it I love the continuity of from both jerseys, from the crest and the line across the front for me. I think that's I think that's sharp. That brings the whole jersey together, and that draws my eyes and distracts me from some of the other. But you know what? It's okay to have other simple parts if you have one intricate design.
I want to see the rest of the setup to see, because it like Sean, like the front, the crest, like the Latvia jersey, the crest looks great. if you put it all together, does it really pop, or is it just like if they go basic for everything else, then it probably is boring.
Yeah.
But that crest is elite.
I have one part from that jersey I think both of you like. Sean, I imagine Sean likes Harry Potter, so that reminds me of Gryffindor, that sweater.
A little bit.
And then on the flip side,
Different
for
colors.
Owen, that reminds me of Peter Cech in net for the Czech Republic soccer team.
Petr Cech.
When they
Yep.
used to wear that with the lion or whatever it was on the front. So I like it.
For the Czechs before they were known as Czechia.
Yes.
But that's before
Speaking
he became
of.
a goalie, by the way.
Yeah, speaking of.
And a hockey goalie, I should point out, because
Yes.
Petr Cech was the longtime goalie for Chelsea and for Czechia when they were the Czech Republic. Still kind of, they call him that.
All right, keep going, Owen. You go ahead in this one. I love this jersey.
I've always been a fan of the Czechs as far as they've got great, the crest, the logos. I'm a little less into, I don't know. I'm not sure I like this design that much.
What's the issue?
It's kind of, I'm not sure again, I'm not Mr. Fashion Forward, so I don't know if I necessarily deserve to be the one to say, but I feel like they can't figure out what they're doing in that. Like, it's sort of a patchwork of too many things.
Yeah. All right, next up. This has got to be one of the best, right?
Finland, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
and it looked even better today with the full gear.
I like the colors. I like the crest. It's sharp.
They go full color in there. So the blue they had today was blue straight all the way down, all the same color. I thought it looked really good. The only thing I don't like, and there's a common theme with me with sweaters, I love the stripe on the bottom. I always like when there's a stripe on the bottom of to kind of separate it.
You're
from
talking
from
about
the pants.
it's almost at the waist area.
Yeah. But I think that crest, Sean, is that crest one of the best in the tournament?
Yeah, it's pretty good. That is pretty good. There's a lot. That's a well done jersey. I personally am a fan of dark blue and powder blue combined together too. Like, I think that's such a good contrast. I like that.
Ali said the Denmark jersey looks like a men's sweater from a fast fashion store in 2005, pair with jeans and a chain wallet. See, that's what we should have done. We need somebody like Ali to give us takes on each of these that that would be good. That would be really good. Anyway, keep going.
All right, next up.
Only got a couple minutes left. So I'm torn on this one because it's boring as hell, this France jersey.
It is.
But there is a bit of an homage to the, French soccer, their soccer team. And Sean, I would have liked to have seen the rooster.
It's bad. It's a bad jersey.
Yep.
So what's the goal with it? But that's what I'm confused. Like, at least a lot of them you see, okay, they're trying to get this, they're trying to get this. That one just feels like, hey, let's put France on the front and then draw a bunch of have our children draw a bunch of lines across it.
It looks like a practice jersey. That one looks
that's exactly what it looks like. Which, by the way, we're going to get to Canada in a second. Canada's practice sweater is better than their game sweater, in my opinion. Let's go Canada, Ryan, if you have it right there. I think these are
that's
horrible.
Busy. What are we looking at here? Which one? All of it?
So there's a few different ones. So the white and the black, they have three. So you can see the main thing for me, I don't care as much about the other stuff. The giant maple leaf on the front, and the fact that they put it, the white is okay, right? But the red with the black and the black with the black, that's bad to me. That black on black on the bottom left there, I think just looks absolutely horrendous.
They've changed the maple leaf over the years, because I'm looking at some of the historical ones. I think like the Vancouver Olympics, I'm trying to remember which one that is. I really liked. I feel like they've gotten a little bit more avant-garde with what the leaf looks like, and that's weird.
Yeah.
Because the red, black, and white traditionally are really distinctive Canadian jersey colors, right? They're easily recognizable. I almost look like they're trying to be too modern.
Yeah, I think U.S. was good, really good jerseys, then bad for a long time. Now really good. I think Canada is in the really bad.
They're in their really bad
at
phase
the moment right now.
Yeah. I don't like the primary black Canadian jersey. That's just, it looks to me, that one is, I think a black jersey, they can be done right, but so many times people just go with the concept of, it's like the Stars neon ones that were black. Like, that was a well done black jersey, one that I actually initially didn't like, and then it grew on me. Too many times people just like, we're trendy by making a jersey all black. It doesn't really work that often for me, at least. So
Yeah, and I think the black on black to me looks like leather for Canada. All right.
I wish they had the maple leaf was not black on the black jersey.
It's weird.
That contrast.
It's weird. All right, Ryan, go ahead. Next up, I think we only have a few more. This
classic.
That's beautiful.
It looks like
I just mentioned the U.S. has gone in the right direction lately.
Yeah.
They have gone away from the ridiculousness that I think of even TJ Oshie in the shootout in 2014 was a pretty ugly one. I think this is one of their best ones I've seen in a very long time.
It's interesting because maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like they cycle through different shades of the red, and blue that they'll go through.
They've gone darker
or lighter ones like that. Pretty obviously, the 1980s are probably the best, maybe because they are, or maybe because they won with them, but can't really go wrong with that, right?
Yeah, that's the big one that I talk about. Stripes. I love the stripes. Yep. That one pops for me. Do we have any more? I think we still have a couple
Switzerland.
More. Right?
Yeah. I really like the logo for Switzerland is very iconic with their flag, with the white cross. The rest of the jersey is pretty plain.
Switzerland's always have a challenge for me because I don't know anyone who doesn't look at them and say lifeguard.
Or like Red Cross.
Or like Red Cross or something like that.
Oh,
like
Switzerland.
It's okay. It's not a problem. It's just you have to.
I'm curious what the rest of that setup looks like. It's not going to be. It's not. They're not going to have the
Ryan loves lifeguards.
I just see Jonas Hiller. I see that jersey. And I see Jonas Hiller, black mask, gold bars, and I see Jonas Hiller. That's all I see.
Beauty.
Two more. This was Slovakia. We saw this today. I don't think the mountain range shows as much on TV as it does in this photo. You don't quite see that. I really like the detail of the mountain that goes behind the crest like that, but it doesn't stand out as much when you watch the games.
I like these a lot. I like the color.
Real quick, guys, on the USA one, real quick, we just should bring up it's actually not a throwback to 1980 because 1980 wasn't the diagonal USA. It's actually a throwback.
Oh, it was straight across, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, this is more of actually a throwback to the 1960 Squaw Valley one. If you go back, look at the forgotten miracle that they call it, actually, when the U.S. medaled in 1960. So that's actually more of the throw. It's more of the throw because this actually looks better to me layout wise than the 1981 with the USA flat across. So
all right, last one. There you go, Sean. You're gold medalists.
Not gold. I didn't
sleeper pick.
What do you think?
I like the black primary with the yellow one. The yellow primary one feels like it needs that stripe you were talking about, Sam. Like it feels like it kind of so. Yeah,
it looks like a penny that you'd put over your pads in football.
Dark jerseys look a lot like the German flag, both the socks and the sleeves, and then they kind of got away with that with the other one. We'll see how it looks when it comes out. If you ask me, I'm torn between Latvia and Denmark. I like those crests. Oh, and Finland, the lion in Finland looks great. But I'm going to go with, because of the whole setup, the Swedish. Like obviously, I like the U.S. ones, but I love the Swedish look. Okay. It's very easy to see, looks great, pops.
Yep.
Trey Kroner.
Sean, your top pick.
I'm a big fan of the Latvia jersey. The Swedish one is, as Steal What Owen just said, is a classic there. But I'm going to go with a credit to the team that won today and is looking like I like the Slovakia jersey, and I think there's an art to having subtle details that you can appreciate from up close. That also the jersey still looks good from afar at the same time. So I'll give Slovakia some love for the overall jersey here on this.
All right, I'm going to pick the U.S. just because I like it, and not just because it's a homer. I really do like that. The double stripe for me is a huge win on most jerseys. Unfortunately, if Connor Hellebuck is their starting goalie, which it seems like it will, it's not going to look good with him because he has the worst goalie setup in the history of the NHL and the history of the Olympics. And we'll talk about that next week.
Quick, just tomorrow, Luds is back tomorrow with Allison Lucan from the Seattle Kraken TV broadcast. Will be a guest for a segment. We're going to get a chance to ask her about their season, the Mason Marchment saga that, of course, starting there is, getting traded there and then getting traded to Columbus, and also about a couple of the players. That's what I was looking for, the canon. A couple of players that we've pegged for possible trade targets. So that'll be fun. We also will be doing a watch-along tomorrow once our show ends. So our show is from 2 to 3, and I'm guessing we're going to pretty much start our watch-along if it's anywhere timed like this game.
The start of the second period.
It'll be literally the start of the second period.
Yep.
We'll switch over from a show. There'll be a separate link. And Sam and I think Ben's going to float in.
Ooh,
we'll do a USA-Latvia watch-along. Hopefully, it's a very silly, one-sided affair, not like what we saw with Finland versus Slovakia today. But so check us out for that tomorrow, Sean.
You're excited. I'm excited to hear you guys talk all about Albert Smiths. That's the one for me.
That's
Smiths.
most of the show.
I think I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about Kasper's Dogovitz.
Okay.
One-time Calder Cup winning Binghamton Senator. So,
Mm-hmm.
Take that.
Uh-huh.
All right.
There you
Big
go.
thank you to everybody for joining us today. We will be here tomorrow again with Allison Lucan. By the way, Mike Heika in studio on Friday.
Beauty.
Sam Heika and I will be here. So we got great shows coming the rest of this week and into next week. As the U.S. gets going tomorrow, we will be there for it. Check us out. For our producer, Ryan Vaughters, for Sean Shapiro, and for Sam Nestler, I'm Owen Newkirk. Thanks for joining us again. We will see you tomorrow right here on DLLS.
I only did a single teabag tonight, Owen. No double teabag action. So.
Bye.
We all silly like the mayor.